Hello, my noble band of outlaws. Outlaw Samurai coming at you live with a video. The first of many of this year's outdoor cutting sessions and or live streams. I have a plethora of things to talk about tonight. Randy Anderson. Hello, Randy. Let's go. Little Caesar's Pizza. Yo. Well, since we have some people showing up, why not start this shit? Behind me is a pool noodle cutting stand / bamboo. We're going to start by seeing if I can cut bamboo with this. When someone asks you to bring a hammer at work. Alright? Hell yeah. So in 3, 2, 1. It worked. Gut's a little jagged. For all of you who want to know, this is the cold steel pole axe. You can get this at Cult of Athena for $115. But we still have noodle left. Hell yeah, woo, whoa. Thanks, guys. Now, Dragon King Spring Sakura Katana is up next. I thought that Samurai Bird would answer my email, but I guess not. The reason I'm being so particular is that there's actually the bamboo peg. Ordering mine now, Dragon King. Hoo-yee. Yeah, you can get both of these on Cult of Athena, actually. Though don't expect it to come as sharp as this one because I sharpened mine. Though, with its edge properly sharpened, this is what you can come to expect. And that's what happens when you have flat edge alignment. Did you know Dragon King translated is Long Dong? Translated from what? Long sword, Long Wong. My bad. Oh. I was gonna say, Dragon King translated from what? Chinese? I almost got a double on that. Yep, now that light turns on. Dragon King is Chinese in Long Wong. How long have you trained in Bushido? Well, Little Caesars, I don't actually train in Bushido. Bushido is just the moral compass that samurai followed. And that really wasn't true even up until the Edo period. The Bushido that we are all aware of today didn't really become prevalent until the Edo period, stretching from the 16th century up until 1872. You're a killing machine. Thank you, Little Caesars. Though, if you know about the YouTube channel by Eric Hussein, I will be honest, Eric is a much better pool noodle cutter than I am. He probably would have been able to get those doubles quite easily. Alright, fascinating. Let's do some speed cutting. This is the Dragon King Winter Sun. It helps if I don't lose the damn target. I hope that was fast enough for you, Randy. If you notice, I'm cycling through these swords fairly quickly because I brought out quite a few for a large discussion. I typically only use Tamahagane steel blades. Well, Little Caesars, by the sounds of it, you have quite a lot of money to spend on blades. Because if you only use Tamahagane, you either have quite a few katana or you only have one that you cut with, is what I'm generally going to take that as. Because Tamahagane is fucking expensive. And not to say that Tamahagane isn't a good steel, it's just, in terms of modern steel kind of does have all the advantages over Tamahagane because of how it's made. Make sure I'm all caught up on the comments. This is the Cold Steel Viking sword. Well, that was interesting. It literally stuck to the damn thing. Managed to do a double cut earlier. Well, I might have taken a little nick out of my garage ceiling. Yeesh, I split the bamboo dowel. You should get a forge and make your own die katanas. I'm not entirely sure what a die katana is. I think you might have had a typo there, my bro. The last sword that I have with me tonight is actually my favorite sword. And the biggest sword I own. The Cold Steel Warrior Series O Katana. I know, it's a beast. Well, that sucked. It cut pool noodles before. Press, thanks. This thing is a good, solid 4 pounds, maybe? 4 or 5, somewhere in there. Hold on a sec. Weird. It's cut pool noodles before. Though I should mention you need a rather keen edge to cut pool noodles properly. So there's that. Alright, there is one last sword I had that I forgot to show. Thick, it just needs to go over with a whetstone. Well, I actually use a work sharp. I don't use a whetstone. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I think it's time I touch the edge up a bit. I really think it only needs a good honing on the 6000 grit. second. But in any case, this is the Crane Katana by Ace Martial Arts. This is actually the first katana I ever bought. It's a 1045 blade that sold for $50 at the time I bought it, way yonder back in 2019, 2017, somewhere around there. You get a forge, and you can make your own Mokogumi Gani. Mokogumi Gani. I'm not sure I've ever heard of that blade geometry. You'll have to elaborate, Little Caesars. But it cuts! And if you've ever watched a YouTuber by the name of Gargoyle Blades, you'll find that he did a video on 1045, and me and him have a very similar belief that 1045 is a very good beginner steel for first-time swordsmen to use, and for beater blades that you're not too concerned about potentially breaking. Do you think if you threw one of the katanas at that tree, it would stick in like an arrow? Well, Randy, I have done that before, and it will do that, but since I don't want to damage my blades, I'm not going to attempt it. But I will tell you this much, just simply dropping a sword because of its weight will make it stick into wood. Especially if it's able to pry the grains apart. But I've pretty much run out of all my cutting targets. There's a thing about doing cutting sessions like this. Well, looks like I might have to repair my cutting stand. There's the thing about doing cutting sessions like this. Do you have a pipe? That's understandable, would be pretty cool. Well, there is one sword I would be willing to do that with, but this one. And no, I do not have a pipe. That's actually not a recycling bin, that's our trash can, and it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to the people who take our trash, so I can't actually cut it. And no, I do not have a pike. Pikes have never really interested me all that much. But it did stick all for a minute, but its own weight caused it to fall. Let's do some... God. I don't really actually have a staff out here. Except for... Well, I do have this piece of bamboo, but I was going to cut it. Might need some force with the sword throw. Hey, Gargoyle, what's up, my bro? You missed me doing all the pool noodle cutting. Hold on 1 minute. I have more noodles in the house. I'll be right back. Sorry for the wait. Sorry for the wait. Hello, everyone. Hey, what's up, Gargoyle? Okay, so y'all know each other. That's very good. So, I can keep these from blowing away. I introduced the video, Gargoyle, with me doing some pool noodle cuttings. And as you can see, I'm outside for once. I plan on doing more outside videos like this with cutting sessions in mind. Well, without further ado, don'ts and power assurance. Again, Yes, that was me farting. Just want to make sure that I'm caught up on all the comments and such. There. No pool noodles were left alive. None shall escape my... Again, this time I'm going to be using the Dragon King Winter Sun again, just simply because I like it and need to figure out where to put the damn key. Well, that was a total flop. I nicked it. But what happened was, mid-swing, I turned my blade too quickly. Make sure, again, all caught up. So, damn. I swear, I did a double earlier. So maybe I was just lucky then. This is just sad. Damn it. I keep nicking the bamboo. No noodles were left alive. Now we got these big thick boys. Oh yeah. This should end horribly. I'm sure you'll be able to get a double with the remaining noodles. Patience and yes, I bet all your neighbors are intimidated. Hopefully, no, you're friendly. Hopefully, I can do a live cutting. Well, I really don't have a lot of talking with my neighbors. Usually, it's more. Usually, where I live, it's more. You stay the hell out of what I'm doing. I stay the hell out of what you're doing, and everyone is happy. But, oh! I did it! I did it! See? I did it! Look! I managed to do a double! Kind of. Although I made the first cut and I heard the second one clear. Thank you, Little Caesars, for that triumphant hell yeah. Like I said, see, I technically managed to do it. Yeesh. And even though I did cut into the bamboo peg, thank you, Randy, for the super rat. And even though I did cut into the bamboo peg a little, there is no edge damage. Oh! Oh, I did it! I did it! I did it! I did a full one! Look, see? I'm doing what Eric did. I did a full one. pissed at me. But all this shit in the yard. I wonder. Ooh. I'll take a little off the top, sir. A little more off the top, sir. I lost my target, sir. But that's the thing. And if you're watching, Gargoyle, because now I've officially run out of all cutting targets except for this bamboo. And no, I did not soak it. Maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't have. But there's the thing. LOL. Hey, Kingfisher, when did you tune in? But something that I had the thing about earlier, Gargoyle, is when you were talking about 1045, which I have an interesting story about 1045 to tell. This here, as I mentioned earlier in the live, is my first ever sword that I actually bought. It's a 1045 crane katana for Amazon from $50. And this thing has tighter fittings than most of my $100, $300, $400, $500 swords. Now, I guess I missed most of the cutting. Also, hi. Yeah, you missed it. I don't think you tuned in when I actually did get a full double just a few minutes ago. But back to the story. And there are like dings on the back of this. There you go. These dings are actually from me hammering the spine of another sword into this sword and using it like a splitting maul. What's up, Kingfisher? Oh, everybody say hi to Kingfisher. So, what happened is, I bought this sword back in 2016, 2017, somewhere around there. Oh, no, I think it was like 2019, 2018 or 2019. Somewhere within that 3-year time span, I bought this. And I sharpened it, of course. It came with a fake hammer, and I took that off. And it has served me well ever since. It is very tough. Okay. It is a very tough blade. And 1045 is renowned for being tough. That means it will bend before it breaks. And I have had to do some maintenance on this. I've had to clean it, and I've polished it, and I've had to sharpen it every few cutting sessions. I actually cut down a pool noodle just a little bit ago using this blade. And the wrapping has not come undone in all that time. The kashira is still tight. The fushira is still tight. I've taken this sword apart more than any of my other swords. I just skimmed back through the pool noodles a bit. Some great cuts. Winter sun is nice. Never had one. I suggest you do get one, Kingfisher, because it is an extremely good sword. And it's very fast, a little bit on the not so nimble side despite its size, but good. You do sword content too? Oh yeah, Little Caesars is apparently Little Caesars only uses Tamahagane blade, so our man got some pockets on him. Okay, he just whipping out that stack of Benjamins. Make it rain on the sword day. But in any case, back onto this thing. So, it has served me very well, and like I left on the comment, I believe 1045 best serves its purpose in beginner swords and swords for new swordsmen, the ones that are just getting into it, that don't want to invest $500, $600, $700 into a sword that they're only probably going to use once or twice and never use again and just put on the wall. So people who usually watch my content are here solely for the purpose that they use swords daily. The same that watch Kingfisher, Gargoyle, Samurai Bird, JBS Bladecraft. You guys have kind of become the big names in the sword YouTube community. I know I'm just a small fish compared to these guys. They do a lot better shit than I can do. Hey Pizza, yeah, I like to practice and sometimes post video. And I get that, Gargoyle. It's limited to what I can use. Pool noodles and bottles and stuff like that. Even tatami mats is good. I mean, I've used this thing to chop through a whole freaking 2x4. So I practice with my dai katana for a couple hours every day. I just don't videos. I'm hardly big time, but thank you. Well, you're bigger than me. You have literally double my subscription content. I mean, count. You have like 406 subscribers, bro. I only got 150. I mean, I'm grateful, but still, that technically makes you the bigger fish in this pond of swordsmanship. We just start our own website called SwordTube. It's just us posting sword videos. I'm not video ready yet. I don't even think I'm still video ready, Little Caesars. I mean, have you seen the kind of stupid shit I do? Well, I'll have to change that for you. Thanks, Gargoyle. I mean, if I'm being really honest, I never really did YouTube to get famous. I usually just do YouTube because I know there are people like me out there that don't really get the ability to conversate a lot. People who are into anime, swords, practicing martial arts, cutting things, destroying things. And that's what I really made my channel for. Thanks for the kind words, Outlaw. I get that it's fun to have more subs and cool videos, though I'm just into it to have fun cutting. I'm still using handmade bokuto. Damn! Handmade bokuto. I mean, I've made a few bokuto myself, but I doubt they're as good as yours, Little Caesars. But hold on one second. I'll go get an example. Halfway kill myself. I just have fun with it and hopefully someone gets something useful out of it. Okay. So you guys had fun in the comments while I was gone. This is actually, and it's dusty, my training sword for the longest time. So you can see, I've always had a thing for big swords. This is the saya that I made for it. Now, Gargoyle's right. Just do what you do to have fun. I mean, I'm just another idiot on YouTube. But yeah, as you can see, it serves its purpose of being a training sword. I made this back when I was in high school, actually. And this is what I started with training in swordsmanship. As you can see, I've always had a thing for the twin tassels. And there's a lot of comparison to be made with the Warrior O katana. I went on an Aikido dojo, and when it was time for Boken, I found a beautiful tapered one, the best on all the racks, but the instructor took it away and was like, use this one instead. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's the thing, Tempest. Most dojos will be like, that's not what we use. You can't use it. You gotta use this one. I mean, I say use it in your private practice, but still. And we can obviously draw parallels to why I like the Warrior O and why it feels so good in my hand, because it's similar in length to this one. This is a 54-inch Boken, which kind of puts it into the realm of Nodachi, really. Not sure the weight, King Schiffer, but I never actually checked it. It's dense Brazilian cherry front and white oak back. He got the laminations up in here. Preach it, my brother. Preach them laminations. But like I said, this is my first ever Boken. Where I learned a lot of my sword flourishes from. Probably because he wanted you to have the weight of the other ones, Kingfisher. Huh? I don't get it. But yeah. So, now that I've talked enough about my first ever Boken, I think it's about time I do some stupid shit. Because this is me we're talking about, and stupid shit is kind of my bread and butter. Bamboo! Not soaked. Now, I know, Gargoyle, you're going to reprimand me for this, but there's a reason why I don't soak this bamboo. And the reason being, well, two reasons. One, I have nothing to soak it in. Alright? I'd have to cut it up and then like re-glue it together, and then what's the point? The second reason is that this is really cheap throwaway bamboo I bought from a garden center at Menards. That's the point. I go, he did, but my shoulder was sore and I had handed to match the class. It was actually kind of painful. LOL, good work. Well, I guess that's the point, Kingfisher. But like I said, I don't have anything big enough to soak this in. And the other thing is, it's not, I don't think it's as hard or as dense as the bamboo that the rest of y'all are used to cutting. It's nowhere near the thickness. Sorry to hijack, got lost in Boken weight there. That's fine, I've just been talking. Y'all have your conversation. I'm just going to do some stupid shit now. And that is what happens when I can get a proper swing in on dry, hard bamboo. All right. I will say one thing though. While it did cut it, it also. Are you saying dude as in awesome or dude as in, oh, what the hell, dude? You make me you make me cringe. But I will say, while it did cut it, it also broke it. So, What is that? No, that did not go in the road coincidentally. But let's look here. We can see no edge damage whatsoever. Dude, as in awesome, that was clean. Thanks, Kingfisher. That's because it's too dry. Sorry you had to see that. My allergies are draining like a son of a bitch. But now that I'm completely out of cutting targets, there's a few other things I can show. Like, for example, just how I wouldn't say easy it is to swing this thing around, but you can get a sense of just how much power this thing can generate, even with half-ass swings like that. But if a lot of you have been keeping up with my channel, you'll have noticed that one of my videos was using the Viking Jun. Well, not so much a Viking Jun, but using the Viking sword as a Jun. And Kingfisher, you pointed out that that would be an arm workout from hell, and it is. Just swinging this thing around, even though it is cool out here, it's just taking so much effort. I mean, damn. My arm feels like it's falling off already. You should get some Kama. I will be looking into that, Gargoyle. It was interesting to learn that the Kama were a farmer's tool and how expensive the experience the populace would have had. Also, that Viking sword is a freight train. Yeah, this thing is a beast. Just the weight alone. It's taking my entire upper arm and wrist to stop these swings and the grip strength in my hand. But it will definitely cleave through a mother. I'll tell you that for nothing. It went through some of the pool noodles. The freight train, okay. But yeah, the Kama that we all accustomed to seeing were actually originally a farmer's tool. Which, coincidentally, the kunai, the knife that we see ninjas use, the ones that are shaped like this, the kunai, they were also historically farming tools before they became associated with ninja. Type 10 for the win. Very true, Kingfisher. I can say it's definitely different to cut with. You should get some Kama. Hey, Tempest! Like the flail? Yes, Kingfisher, the flail in most instances was a farming tool before it became a weapon. It was used to separate grain from rice stalk, or at least with Chinese and Japanese flails. There are actually some historians who believe that that's where the nunchuck originated from. One of the stories of its origin was that it was a rice flail, and a Chinese emperor, this is the Chinese telling, was so enamored by how effective it was that he ordered many to be made, armed his troops with them, taught them how to use it, fought a Mongol horde, and beat them. And at some point, originally, originally the flail that the Chinese claim was the ancestor to the nunchucks was much like a European one with a long haft and a weight at the end. And it was used to beat rice off stalks. And the nunchuck evolved from that because I guess some of the flail handles broke. Okay, everyone's saying hi to each other again. Oop, almost tripped over the sandbag I had weighing down the cutting stand. But another very interesting weapon is this Goliath. We got the poleaxe out again. So, Tempest, since you're tuning in late, earlier I did a whole bunch of cutting. I've ran out of cutting targets now. I feel like I got decent mileage out of them. Nice. I actually have a set of size indoors, but I'm not going to go get them because I'm tired of running back and forth. But yeah, we have the poleaxe. And when I first got this thing, I thought I was supposed to I literally was holding this thing like a sword for the first 5 minutes of wielding this thing. Then I was like, okay, so we got choked down on this thing. But then I'm like, what's all this dangly bit of wood at the end? So then I found out where the middle ground was. And now, I can use it just fine. Now, I will admit that I am nowhere near as good at using this as I am with a sword. I've said this before. I'm not a poleman. I don't use polearms. I'm not an axeman. I don't use axes. I am a swordsman. I use swords. Those are the weapons that I am most comfortable dealing with. Thanks, Tempest. Okay. Yeah. Traditionally, these polearms were only issued to the most highly trained of medieval knights, if you were a knight, or highly trained members of a king's army. These are not just something a commoner or a peasant with no formal combat training could pick up and use. These are something that require an extensive amount of physical strength, endurance, and proper technique to use. So, what you just saw there was just me flailing around. I swear you're doing that on purpose. First time, just keeping track. Is the back of the axe have a hammer in? Yes, and actually, Gargoyle, the axe is what's considered the back, and the hammer is what's considered the striking end on pole axes. You would generally more times strike with the hammer because most of the time you're dealing with opponents in full plate armor. The axe was more for light armor or gambeson to fight against those kinds of armor. Okay. That's why you're doing this kind of Swear you're doing this on purpose. We are warriors. We must master all blades. That is true, Tempest. And like I showed you before, it's not like I couldn't use this thing if I had to. It's just I'm nowhere near as good at using this as a sword. If I couldn't use it, I wouldn't have it. Well, as I was saying before, the axe portion was usually meant to deal with direct flesh on flesh or gambus and cloth armor. It wasn't designed to go up against full plate. That's what you have the striking end for. This would completely cave in most cases, a medieval knight's helmet. Or if they weren't wearing a helmet, this would definitely cave in a person's skull. And Tempest, sorry I haven't been keeping up. You're doing a cold steel week? I was going to say, maybe I could help you with that. Next up is something that I showcased in my Christmas video, but I haven't really touched on since. And that is the official dice show of the Outlaw Samurai channel. Of winter sun and spring sakura. That's true, Gargoyle. Or katana. I actually do not have any bricks available for smashing, Tempest. If I would, I'd use one. But all the bricks we have here are either keeping lids on trash cans or keeping tarps down. Nice. Thanks. I do, however, have something else that I can test on. Wrongs. I can't do this. It's very evident that I can't. I'm going to put this up quickly because I don't want this to fall and chip all the hell. What I do have that I'm capable of semi-testing on is this, and I will grab it post haste. Just stay light. I have that behemoth. Now, as I will be endeavoring to move the setup, don't worry, I'm still here. Just moving my setup. Which means I have to unplug something. And untangle that. Last minute alterations, am I right, people? Alright. So, as per Kingfisher's request, we will see what this poleaxe can do to this pressure treated 6 by whatever something. So let's bring you guys over here. This should be entertaining, to say the least. Quickly, before I do any of this, just let me know what your predictions are. Everyone hit the like button. Thank you, Gargoyle. Now, without further ado, don'ts and probably shouldn'ts. 3, 2, 1. Woo! I'd say that did a pretty decent job. What do you guys think? But of course, we are not done yet. Oh, damn. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. My light fell over. I know, we're just experiencing all kinds of technical difficulties tonight. Oh. Hello, Mr. Outlaw Samurai. Hello, Fangirl. Now, back to the chopping. I should mention that there was a rattle in this before I started, and it has not gotten worse. It hasn't gotten better, but it hasn't gotten worse. And my camera light shouldn't fall over anymore now, since I... Whoa! There. Sorry about that. It's... What was keeping it from blowing over before was a cord. Alright, so let me show you. Now, we gonna test the smashy in for gargoyle. 3, 2, 1. Yeesh. Still did not get any worse. Surprisingly. You were saying? It would definitely break bones. Here's the damage done by the Warhammer end. You can see almost centimeter inch indentations in the wood. And that's what happened when I went hog ass wild with the hammer end. I don't think it's generally supposed to make a ringing sound, Tempest. If I'm being honest. Yeah, it would definitely break some bones, I'll tell you what. But you know what this has got me wanting to try? Viking sword versus katana! 3 times. 3 times what? LOL. I don't know where to put this shit, so I'm just gonna put this here. Viking sword up first! Yeah, it's windy tonight in Indiana. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's sending chops. What was that? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still perfectly straight. Developed a little bit of play in the pommel. Though, what should I expect from hitting a sword against fucking pressure-treated wood? No edge damage, by the way. Jealous of your near summer. Got some of that this morning. Gargoyle snow in April, too. Well, I can't help it, Kingfisher. That's just Indiana when she finally decides to... When Mother Nature finally decides to stop having anorexic orgasms about the damn winter and make up a fucking mind. I will say this, I felt an extreme amount of shock from this one. But let's see what my baby can do. My baby back. Ribs. We'll do it down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now let's compare and contrast the differences, shall we? At least the storm's finally stopped now. If that was any other sword other than a cold steel, I call you insane. Still cold here, dude. Well, Tempest. I feel like you're challenging the length of insanity. Oh my god. Oh no. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Something I found out about my light. Apparently it's supposed to pop apart. I guess so that you can change the light bulb. You know what, everybody? The cold steel is just fine. Even after falling, it has sustained no damage. to have your mind blown because I am insane. This is the 1045 crane katana I was talking about earlier. Now let's see what it does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's gotten a little play in the tang, but nothing a new Makugi peg can't solve. So, Tempest, do you dare to call me insane now? Call me insane, my good sir, for I embrace insanity. But no, I used to do shit like this, like what I just did with this thing, all the fucking time. Now, let us inspectificate the damages. Up here, we have the quote-unquote wound from the Viking sword. This is what I just did with the 1045. And this down here is what I did with the Warrior O katana. These up here came from a machete test I was doing earlier. Yep, insane. More than before. I thank you for your compliments, my good sirs. I find sanity to be quite underrated. For those of you wondering what I'm drinking, it's Starry. Drinking something helps with my sinuses flushing. Let's see here. Shall we do more? Oh, the cringe. Let the cringe continue, shall we? Now, it should generally be stated that I don't usually do shit with swords unless I feel like they can handle it. Because let's be honest, hitting something like this is the very definition of torture test. But, Tempest, you called upon this insanity, so it's only right that I give it. Well, being a swordsman and insanity do kind of go hand in hand. Exactly. We're more than willing to risk our lives for some gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5160 spring steel, y'all. Even after all that, not even a single millimeter of a bend. Now, nah, it was just COVID isolation. Things are better now. I don't know, Kingfisher. I mean, people like me who are introverts, we didn't really feel the effects of COVID isolation. To us, it was just a normal 3 years, except we had to wear a mask whenever we went outside, which fucking sucked. Next, we have the Dragon King Winter Sun Katana. That was solid cutting, by the way. Thank you. That made everyone insane for sure, Kingfish. Thank you. With proper edge alignment, you can do shit like this and not fuck up your blade. I'm not saying that I'm a master or anything, but it's worth saying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Still perfectly straight. Straight as it was. The suba on this thing is bent, so it kind of throws off my eye when I'm looking down. Yeah. Still straight. And again, slight little play in the side in the suka, but nothing that new Makuki pegs can't solve. Let's see here. I've cut, I've chopped, I've smashed. Looks like Outlaw has a lot of sharpening to do now. Actually, Gargoyle, there's a funny thing here. Stupid. Damn motion sensor. Let's see. This hasn't lost its edge at all. None of these swords have even blunted. There's not even like the little flat spots you get on the edge. This edge hasn't rolled, nicked, or dulled at all. That's the beauty of what properly made 1056, not 1056, 5160 spring steel sword is capable of doing. And the cold steels, well, they're just too thick to blunt from something like that. I like that sword. Maybe just the name Winter Sun is really cool. Funny how the katana seems to do better than the axe. Well, there's actually a funny reason for that, Kingfisher. And that's actually because that axe isn't designed to chop wood. And I know what you're going to say and think. Outlaw, you finally lost your fucking mind. An axe not designed to chop wood. Well, that's true. These axes were designed to chop into human flesh by seeing how thin this axe is. This blade is actually just a little thinner than where I was striking with the katana. All right. These axe blades were designed to go and cut deep into human flesh, lacerate open chests, cut open stomachs, chop through limbs. This weapon was designed to fight other humans, not fight wood. Coincidentally, the axe has not blunted either. So that's the reason why my phone's at 1%. That is the reason why this did not cut as well as the katanas. Aside from the fact that the katanas, they also had a wider surface area to bite into the wood. When I was cutting the wood with this, it was only biting either here at the tip, in the center, or at the other tip. The katana had pretty much the same surface area to bite into the wood. It's just it didn't have the ability to strike with that surface area. You also don't want a razor edge on a sword if you cut really hard targets. And that's true, Gargoyle. Agreed. Stupid. It's a goddamn motion sensor. Why can't it just stay on? That's why I told my uncle, like, getting a motion sensor is a stupid idea. Though, granted, that thing was really designed for me to be out here making videos for the last hour and a half. Well, more technically, hour and 8 minutes. But now that I've kind of gone through all the repertoire of the weapons that I've brought out here, is there anything that you noble band of outlaws would like for me to discuss? because it's a motion sensor. Niku can compensate so you can still have a very sharp edge, just maybe not shaving sharp. I don't know. I've seen some pretty sharp katana from Japan with traditional Niku go through like 6 or 7 tatami mats, so I definitely would say that could probably shave. And I know it's a motion sensor. It wasn't built for a backwoods idiot like me to come out here and make videos. Oh, it's just a leaf fluttering on the board. But I meant against hard targets about the Niku and the sharpness. Yeah, I know what you meant, Kingfisher. I'm just saying that there are some videos of Tamashigiri online where they're going through like 6 or 7 different mats all at once. So I'm thinking if that edge can do that, it can definitely shave. And it may or may not have Niku, I don't know. But now that I've gone through the repertoire of weapons and kind of talked for a little bit, what does any of y'all have to say? Any questions, comments that you wish for me to discuss about? Niku does help, especially from taking a bend. Yeah, because you have more meat there to kind of reinforce the entirety of the blade. I don't think any of y'all have hit the like button like Gargoyle asked y'all to. Just saying. Or maybe it's because it hasn't had a chance to process yet. But, like I said, any questions, comments, concerns that you may have, not regarding my sanity or lack thereof. I mean, my grandma's laughing at me through the window, so. You. I win. I'll show you. Nah. Well, Tempest, what do you have to discuss? I mean, I don't know what time it is in all y'all's different time zones across America. Not what I wanted to do. Grandma, good for that. Yeah, I know, Gargoyle. She's still laughing and mocking me, though. I wonder what happened if I just hit this square on tight. Satisfying. I literally bought that thing just for doing stupid tests. Poleaxe trip. I don't know what that means, Tempest. Is that like a technique where you trip someone with the poleaxe and then just bash them in the head? Oh, okay. Then I guess it just isn't showing up on my end. I'm going to beat this motion sensor like the stepson of a redheaded stepmother if it doesn't stay on, with how much I'm moving around out here. I am literally constantly in motion. Would love to get a Yachty. I would too, but personally, you've seen from my videos, I like the Naginata, but the Yachty, I can see it. Maybe almost make like a hybrid between the poleaxe and, oh wait, that's already created. It's called a halberd. Yeah, actually, that is a technique. Oh, you mean the, like, sweep the leg and then just come down with the hammer? Or sweep the leg and come down with an axe? Or is it like an interchangeable thing for the situation you're in? Because if I was going to use this to trip someone, I would definitely put like some kind of hook on the bottom of this. That way I could just pull like this, and then I'd be in prime position to smack down. You can do it with a great sword, constantly in motion. I know, Kingfisher. I'm constantly moving around in my front yard, but that son of a bitch doesn't want to stay on. But yeah. Now, personally, with the Yari situation, the hook in the axe can be used to trip or bind swords. I know that, but at the same time, it's like the axe blade is down here performing the tripping. So as I pull up, I'd have to spin the axe around. With a hook on the axe, I could just pull back and then swing down. Or bind down shields. I can see where you're going with that, Tempest. You could bind down shields, but then you're kind of in a shit situation where your weapon is in the middle of binding and you have to figure out a way to counterattack. Movement with the naginata is similar to a katana, but the yari movement is different. And I get that. Yari movement is much more spear-like in motion. When the naginata is more, like you said, katana. Though, honestly, if I was going to use a naginata, I really would prefer to use the katana over the naginata, simply because I do know of ways to get around a spear user. Joe, you hit them with the head of the axe. You don't always need the blade. Ah, all right, Tempest. Basically, naginata means sweeping down. That sounds like an AC/DC or Kiss album, actually, like the name of a Kiss or an AC/DC album, Sweeping Death. But yeah, I'm not discounting the naginata's effectiveness. It's just I'm not proficient enough with pole arms to pick one up and confidently use it. That's why when I was learning swordsmanship, I learned anti-pole arm techniques that are used against people with pole arms to close the distance. And basically, once you've gotten past this point right here, the quote-unquote danger zone, it's much easier to deal with a polearm user, because if you can get past the danger zone and maintain that close distance, they are extremely limited in what they can do to offend you from that point on. That is true, but also take into consideration the Dane axe. And the Dane axe is, I'd argue, more of a slashing weapon than a chopping weapon, just because of how the blade is oriented. And then Gargoyle also has the point there. Naginata were not always as long as we assume. That was the same with Yari. A naginata or yari, in some cases, were shortened on purpose to fit their users' hands more. Just like this poleaxe. Technically, it's a little long for my liking. I would have preferred the axe head coming to my shoulder. Of course, then it would have been more of a war hammer with an axe head at the end. But still, I prefer shorter pole. If I'm going to use a pole arm, I prefer a pole arm that I'll use this as a cut, where it ends in my left hand, and basically the head would butt up against where my right hand is. A pole arm similar to sword length. Cool thing about the poleaxe is you can use a lot of different techniques. I wonder if a lot of the trips were done by spearing the end between their legs rather than sweeping. Also, the eye had an 18-inch blade. Well, true, Gargoyle, but the Naginata had an even longer blade at 24 to almost 30 inches at times. Now it turns on. And I could actually see that, like, you just jab them in between the legs as they're running, and it trips them up. But you also have to remember you have to deal with the backlash of that torque as they are trying to move their legs. Personally, I would prefer just putting a hook at the end and tripping and bashing in one motion. But that's me. But with all that in mind, personally speaking, I can see the advantage and disadvantages of all these different pole arms, especially when you're comparing and contrasting European to Japanese. I mean, a lot to do with the katana and the longsword, but personally speaking, I like pole arms. I just don't like big pole arms. Pole arms like this, I just find to be unwieldy to me. Like for display and showing, like I did before with the whole like twirling. The thing and everything. If I was actually doing all those twirls and shit in an actual fight, I'd be dead because all my opponent would have to do is just basically walk up and stab, kill me. Okay. None of the comments have updated yet. But that's the thing. I'm not checking text or anything. I'm checking where the video is at this current moment on my phone because I use that to kind of keep track of where everyone is. So, with all of that in mind, it's getting kind of late out here. Been on for almost an hour and a half. But pole arms are one of the hardest things to defend off. And you're not wrong, Gargoyle. But there are actual sword techniques specifically designed to block a pole arm's usage and getting closer. I wish I had someone here that I could use to hold this while I demonstrated, but I don't. Need to get a hold of Outlaw Knight. Difficult. All things will be difficult. Pole arm length is one of the biggest strengths. Difficult at first. Yeah, I get it's one of their biggest strengths. That also doesn't mean that it's going to be easy for me to use the fucking thing. Goddamn motion sensor. Driving me shit crazy. But yeah. But as I am continuing on, it's getting rather late out here. And I really don't want to be that dick that keeps my neighbors up by shouting at the top of my lungs to make sure that the audio is clear and concise. So, I really hate to do this to all of y'all, but I'm going to have to end the live stream here. I feel like we've had a very productive live stream, by the way. Thank you all for showing up. Let me just go through the... keep from splitting my damn neck open. Comments. Ooh, a lot of comments. That's what I like to see. All right. Thank you, Randy Anderson, Little Caesars, Gargoyle, Kingfisher, Fangirl, Tempest. I want to thank all of y'all for showing up. Thank you, Tempest. You Yeah, they would send troops crawling to stop the polar people while busy with fighting. That's a very interesting thing. I'll be there in a second. So, until next time, my noble band of outlaws, Outlaw Samurai tells all y'all, be crazy rednecks, be safe and use your weapons, and again, thank you for showing up. I'm out. Peace.